There we are. Lovely to see you all on this Monday morning. We'll start straight away this morning, and it's going to be quite a gentle class, just easing into the body. Does definitely feel looking out the window just a little bit more autumnal as well. So I'm sure our bodies kind of respond to that a little bit. And so we'll just take time to come into the body and then just come into a gentle flow and a little bit of a warming practice, but a slow warming practice. Just to ease into ourselves. So in the seated position, you may want to use a mudra. So index finger to thumb is really nice. Also the thumb to the third or the fourth finger, that's one of the heart mudras. You can see you've got your index finger then and the little finger pointing away from you, a bit like deer's antlers. Turning the palms up, you can rest the hands on the lap. So one or the other, take your pick. Now just drawing up into your spine and then just roll your shoulders back a couple of times. And in doing so, it just allows you to just free up the spine really. Rather than getting too engaged in what shoulders are doing, they often tend to hunch a little bit. Just allows that lift up the central column of the body, up and into the skull of the body. Now feel both sides of your sit bones, so there's an equal balance, both sides of the body, connecting you to the mat, to the floor, to the earth. And then another little lift up through the spine. Allow your gaze to soften. So if you were a camera lens, it's going into soft focus now. And from that point, your eyes can shut. And with eyes shut, start to feel the rhythm of your breath. Start to feel how the body is this morning. Making contact with yourself. Now the mind may very quickly then start to create an expectation of this feeling. But seeing if you can sit quite objectively with yourself. Just noticing sensation, however you find it within yourself. And if anything within the framework of the body does feel slightly intense as you sit, keep coming back to the rhythm of the breath, entering, leaving the body. So you can anchor your attention, but still find a sense of movement within you. And from that, an awareness that nothing is static in sensation. And although we start to solidify it and create it into some sort of identity, it is just a flow of energy that arises and passes within us, even if some of them do feel very, very dense, quite solid. And following the tide of your breath for a few moments more. And you may like to imagine or visualize that you're kind of washing the body in a flow of gratitude with your breath. Allowing your breath to nourish, hard to reach parts of the body, to soften edges of sensation. Finding, feeling the comfort of the breath. And hands coming together when you're ready. And head bowing to heart, greeting yourself. And then eyes opening again. And with eyes opening, taking your knees together now. And we're going to start this morning coming onto all fours. So arriving on all fours, a nice neutral spine here, fingers spread wide, toes pointing out there behind you. And we'll just take the spine from side to side to start with. A bit like you're rocking the spine as if it were in a hammock. Follow your breath now, so you're rocking from side to side with your breath. And then the next couple of rounds of breath from the side to side movement, you're putting in a figure of 8. So one circle to one side, crossing over the midline and over to the other side. Keep connecting inwards to the flow of your breath so your movement can become in alignment with your breath. And your breath flow is smooth, it's like water. And so following your breath, allowing your movement to become likewise. Now we'll change direction with the figure of 8 from side to side. And then your pelvis is staying up in the air as your hands start to walk forward a little bit. So your spine is hanging between shoulders and your forehead can come down towards the mat. You may want to support it on a block or a cushion, that's more comfortable. We'll take a few breaths here, so relaxing into the sensation of opening into the spine. When you're ready to move, you start to walk your hands back in towards your knees. And that will mean you can lift up onto the knees. And once you're up on the knees, we'll lift up the arms, a big in-breath. And you may like to take this into a very gentle back bend. Holding the control, bring the palms back to the heart. So notice there's a little bit of a wobble there for myself. So engage your core to really keep the control and lift up through the spine. Take another circle with the arms, again reaching up and into the sky with the arms. Keep drawing up into the core. So just stabilizing your center of gravity. And out breath, hands to the heart. You're coming into a more upright position. Hands reaching down to the floor now. Back onto all fours. In breath, spine will lengthen. With your out breath, tucking under your sit bones so the spine will curve up the ceiling. Another in breath, tucking up. And lift up into your crown as you come through. Then from the base of the spine, you're starting to curve up, head hanging. A few breaths here. Finding that very easy rhythm of your breath and moving with that. The next round or so, you can turn your palms out to the sides. And you may want to go the whole way round with the palms, so fingers face back towards you. If you're doing that version, make sure your hands are quite wide on your mat, almost out to the edges. Just note if there's any fight through the body. And again, just feeling the sensation as it arrives, as it passes. With your next round of breath also, we'll take the palms facing forward again. 2 more rounds and just normal cat and cow. And then toes tucking under. So your knees come together here with the toes tucked under. And you're easing your way back to heels. Now start to walk your hands back in a little bit. With hands back in, either keep the hands there so you've got some sort of support, but make sure you're still lifting into your spine, or else hands can come on the knees. Keep finding your breath. That will help to carry you through sensation. The next in breath, we'll take a big circle through the arms. Out breath to heart. And one more from that big circle up above the head. The hands will reach forward, down to the mat. And then you're ready to come up into down dog, an easy down dog with bent knees this morning. But bending your knees, you can draw the spine up and towards the front of the thighs. Really relax the weight of the body here as much as you can. Let the hands, the feet carry the body. And lifting up off your heels now, so your heels are as high as they can be. Keep drawing your spine towards the front of the thighs still.
In your next out breath, we're going to bring the heels down towards the floor. So legs are straight now. Still keep that movement, spine towards front of thighs. With your next in-breath, taking your feet up towards the hands, either walking, stepping, jumping, and folding into forward fold. Now, how much length can you create up the backs of the legs to your sit bones, and then from the sit bones down the spine, forward reaching down in front of the toes towards the earth. And seeing if there's any space for next breath in your out breath. And then coming to rise, a slow rolling up through the spine. Anchor your feet as you start to lift.
And you'll arrive up into standing, hands on the hips. Now, just notice my head's been chopped off, so I'm just moving that back a little bit. Hands on the hips, and take your feet hips width apart. Now, again, just roll over and roll the shoulders back a couple of times. And then, just take the spine into a circle, the pelvis. It's quite easy to lose focus when the movements of the body become quite a bit bigger. So starting from your feet, work your awareness up through your legs. See if you can make both legs work together as you circle up into the pelvis. And then follow that line upwards through the spine into the crown of the head. It's almost like if you were doing one of those dot to dots, you know, which you get in those children puzzle books, just trying to piece the whole body together rather than the mind getting drawn to one part or another over another. Take your circle back the opposite way. Keeping that whole body awareness. And then, arriving back into a center line, anchor your feet down, so lift up your toes, stretch out across the balls of the feet, and then dropping toes down to anchor down into all of them. Draw into your belly, a deep in-breath, the arms lifting up. Now we're coming down into chair from here, so drop down into your knees. Just make sure it's a comfortable stance first, that you feel balanced down into the feet. And out breath, arms will come in front of you. Your thumbs are going to be facing up. In breath, right arm lifting up and over. Out breath, or in breath again, so I got that a little bit wrong. The left arm's going to lift up and over, so both arms are stretching out behind you, like aeroplane wings. Next, out breath. Bring the arms around in a big circle in front of you. Holding here. And as you breathe out, drawing your palms into the heart. Now in breath, reach skywards again. And out breath, take your spine down in a big swallow dive into forward fold. Now your hands can rest wherever you want them to rest here. But I'd like you to now take a figure of 8 from side to side in your forward fold. Use your arms as a support, as a prop here for balance. Might be just a very small movement in your figure of 8. You change directions now. And then just moving your head now. Keep the trunk of the body still. And you're now just moving the skull in a figure of 8. Back the other way. And then again, arms hanging, and you're rolling your way up and into standing again. Lift up your toes again. As you come into standing, stretch out through the balls of the feet, toes planting down and the heels lifting. Heels coming down, the toes will lift. And finding your breath, just working between one and the other. So letting your breath, how to say, be the carrier of the movement from one to the other. It's quite hard to do quite seamlessly, to keep that control through the body, to move with the breath. But hard for some of us. Now in breath. And then out breath, we pause with the heels lifting up into the sky. So you're balanced on the balls of the toes. Now draw into your belly, big in breath, and the arms will float up. We're going to arrive into chair, arms above the head, just relax the shoulders a bit. Out breath, heels coming down and sink into your knees. With your out breath, the palms will come down in front of you again, thumbs up. Soften your shoulders here. So bring the weight of the body down into the core, down into the legs, to the feet. In breath, right arm will circle out and back. This time we're going to circle it back again. When you're ready to, bring it back to the front of the body. And we'll do the other side. Out breath, it's coming back over. A big circle through both arms, breathe in. And this time coming into a forward fold down your center line. Lift up through the backs of the legs as the spine travels down. And a deep out breath through the mouth. Now arriving in a standing forward fold twist here, left hand can stay on the left side of the body, or you may want to cross it over in front of the right foot. Right arm will lift up. And taking the right hand down,
Choose where you're planting it as the left arm lifts up. Both arms coming down. Root into both feet, bend your knees and start to lift back up and into chair. Arms above the head. With your next out breath, take your arms out behind you, both of them at the same time. And you're arriving there, thumbs facing up. One more round of breath. And with your out breath, taking the palms to the front now into that big circle. And the arms can start feeling a little heavy here. So imagine you're resting. You've got big beach balls or big cushions underneath the armpits. And also you're resting the forearms on something in front of you. Feel both of your legs. Follow that line down, legs to feet. Follow the line up through the body to the crown. And then you can come into forward fold. Again, arriving in forward fold. Your choice, just taking the body then to some sort of figure of eights, whether it's the skull only, whether it's the pelvis, whether it's both of them together. And if you change directions now, and coming up into standing again, the arms will float up above the head. And out breath, palms arriving at heart, elbows to the sides. Allow your eyes to shut here, the gaze very soft behind the closed eyelids. Awareness on the breath. Your eyes can open again when you're ready. So step up to the front of the mat if you're not there already. And both feet together here at the front of the mat. Just find balance, find lift through your body. So root into the feet, draw up through the legs. Lift up into the spine, to the skull. And now feeling your breath and allowing your breath to keep the lift through the bodies. As you breathe in, there's a natural lift of energy upwards. Breathing out, a sense of releasing downwards. Feel the lightness within the breath. With in-breath, arms will lift up. And out-breath, you'll take the hands down and into forward fold. Breathing in, off your spine forward. And out-breath, you'll arrive into down dog. Now, no rush this morning, so just bending the knees a little bit. Feeling connection between hands and feet in your down dog. Flush for breath through the body. And coming down, slow movement onto all fours. And from all fours, arriving back towards your heels. Now we're coming through into Cobra, keeping your pelvis slightly lifted as you ease forward. And sliding onto the belly, feet pointing away from you. In breath, arrive in Cobra. And out breath, find your way back and into down dog. Anchor down into your left foot so your right foot can lift up behind you. And pointing your right leg skywards. Bend from the right knee and opening out into the right hip. Keep both hands really firmly anchored along with your left foot. And the right leg will start to float down. Into the left leg, anchor down to the right foot as the left leg floats up. Bend through the left knee and opening out into left hip. And left foot floating down. Now we're going to step the right foot forward now between hands. So however you want to get there, bring the right foot forward and lunging forward on that front leg. So your knee is as near as possible above the ankle. And we flip the back foot down. Now, keeping the gaze forward, soften your gaze here. Bring awareness into the feet. Start to lift up. And in breath, the arms floating up. As you breathe out, bring both arms down now. The hands down to either sides of their ears, elbows out to the sides. In breath, reaching up. And out breath, easing back down again. Reaching your right arm forward, your left arm back, takes you into warrior two. You can turn the palms down there. Bring both hands back into the head again. And reaching your left hand down, your right arm up. And then stretching out with the right arm. And bringing it down towards the floor. If that feels too far a reach down towards the floor, you can just rest the right arm on the front of the right knee. Left arm reaching up and over. And continue that circle through the left hand so it arrives down on the left hand side of the front foot. And from there, you have a natural bend in that front leg. You can lift up through the front leg just to open to hamstrings. Draw the pelvis back here behind you. Now root down into your hands. So that will enable you to rotate that back foot so it's parallel with the long edge of the mat. And step back with the right leg. A little bit of bend in the knees to get the lift through the spine and down dog. And then slowly finding your way round and down onto all fours. the right back towards your heels. And with pelvis slightly lifted again, you're coming forwards onto the belly. Both feet pointing out behind you. In breath into cobra. And out breath. Slow easing up and back into down dog. Now left foot's going to come forwards now between hands. Just take your time to bring it forwards. And then we're flipping the back foot down. Now your pelvis is forward. As you start to come up, soften the gaze again. As you come up, lunge forward on the front knee. And arms floating up. Relax the shoulders here as much as you can. So let the body take the weight, the legs, the feet. Without breath, we bring the hands down to the shoulders, elbows to the sides. Another in-breath, we lift up. Out breath, back down again. Now we're reaching forward with left hand, right arm reaching out behind you. Into warrior two. Both hands coming back into the head. Left arm up, right arm down. And coming into the side stretch, either this left hand over the front knee, or else reaching down to the ground, and the right arm will reach up and over. Now you're going to windmill it down, all the way down to the ground. And then you're in this forward fold stretch, a natural bend again through that front leg. You're looking to lift up through up and into the sit bones, drawing the pelvis back. And then taking both hands to the big toe edge of your front foot and walking them around into the center of the long edge of the mat. So you're rotating that left foot so both feet are parallel. In breath, look forward off of the spine, soften the gaze. Out breath, folding. In breath, off your spine again. Out breath, folding. Walking the hands in a little bit so you feel supported. Bring your hands then up to the hips and root down into your feet as you lift up into standing with legs wide apart. A deep in-breath. Breathe in, the arms will float up. And out breath, arriving into forward fold. Now take your heels in, toes pointing out, and then again root down into your feet as you start to lift up, knees bent, toes pointing out. And in breath, out breath, pardon me, hands are coming down either sides of the head again, elbows to the sides. Now, I know it's a bit scary sinking low down into the pelvis, but just going as far as you want to there. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed here, elbows to the sides, in breath, palms lifting up, out breath, down. Follow the rhythm, another round. Into your out breath. Do just one more.
And out breath this time, just floating into a forward fold here.
Now when you arrive, rotate your feet so they're parallel again, then folding fully. Left hand in the center between your feet, right arm lifting up, taking you into a twist. Right hand coming down to the center, left arm coming up. Left hand down again, right arm up. And to the other side. Now both hands now in that center line. I'd like us just to turn the heels in again, toes out again. Don't worry, not doing quite the same goddessy thing here. Hands on the hips, coming up again.
And as you then come up, slide your hands down your hips towards the knees. Now your elbows are bent a little bit to either sides here. And this is more qigong really than yoga. It's a lovely one for releasing heat through the body, trapped energy. Take your gaze over your right shoulder. And then you're going to scoop the front of the body across the front, you'll cross the area in front of you over to the left-hand side. Big semicircle around, looking out behind you over the left shoulder. With your out breath, scoop over the front. Breathe in, look behind. Out breath, front. In breath, behind. Do a few more rounds. And we'll finish off one more. Arrive back to your center line, hands down, and walking your hands around to the left foot or to the top of the mat. And framing that front foot, step back and into down dog. Deep out breath through the mouth in down dog. Start to take your pelvis from side to side, almost like you're swinging it again in that hammock. And then arriving down onto all fours. Arriving onto all fours and taking left leg out to the side. Your toes are pointing forward and you're lifting up onto the knee. So hands underneath the left leg, lift it up and back, then bringing your left hand to the top of the leg. In breath, right arm floats up. Breath to feel connection from the right knee all the way up into the right fingertip. And then the right hand coming over to the side of the body. So it really is a lifting up and over to open up into that side edge of the body. We'll bring the right hand down, taking yourself back onto all fours, and the left knee is going to come in again.
Right knee out to the right leg out to the side. Lift up. Scoop up the right thigh up and back. Hand to the top. Left arm floating up. Breath also just to feel again from left knee, the connection rising up to left fingertips and then over to the side. Coming back down and onto all fours. So you lie down, this time with your right knee, take it into your core, so you're looking down at it, and then drawing a circle out the side behind you with the right knee. The foot's lifted a little bit. Right knee down, the same on the left side. And left foot down. So sitting now on your heels, or else you may want to take the knees a little distance apart. You can put a cushion down here between, or a block between the legs, and we're sitting back towards the floor. So you're either on your heels there, else you've got your shins either sides of the thighs. That's not comfortable. Do bring the legs out in front. Coming into a twist one way or another. Left hand over to the right hand side and a big circle through the right arm. Now, whole body awareness again. Feel the pelvis lift up into the spine. Feel that twist opening through both sides of the spine. And coming back, right hand to left knee, and a big circle with your left hand up and over. And coming back again. So stretching out the legs now in front of you. And toes flexing up towards ceiling, hands either sides of the body, and lifting your heels just a fraction, breathing in, toes will point away. Breathing out, toes lifting back in. In breath, away. Out breath, back in. Another round also. And then in breath, arms floating up. Now reaching forward with the arms, let the spine float down a little bit. And then just letting the hands come to rest somewhere on the legs. Now, take your spine into a little figure of 8. Take the pelvis into a figure of 8 here in your forward fold. Maybe just a very small movement. Small's probably better here in a way. So you're already quite anchored. So it's encouraging more ease within the base of the spine. Take that figure of 8 the opposite way. And then drawing up into your head, looking forwards, breathing in and breathing out, eyes shutting and relaxing the weight of the head down between the shoulders. And in-breath, sliding your spine up again into sitting. Knees bending now, and you're riding down on the spine and hugging your knees into the chest. We'll just rock from one side of the pelvis over to the other. And then we're going to come into a moving twist. From side to side. You can either keep your hands on the knees here, so you've got a little bit of leverage. Else you may want to bring the arms out to either sides of the body. And just following the flow of your breath, take your knees to one side. And then following the flow of your breath, you're coming over to the other. So moving from side to side with your breath. It's going slowly, so you're really massaging out all of the lower spine as you move. Just finish the round you're on now. And then we're doing exactly the same now. I'm just going to move a little bit closer in. Excuse for whipping here. We're bringing the knees over, say, to the right side to start with. And then once they've arrived there, stretch out your top legs. It's your right leg. Bend your right knee again, so both knees are back together. Take the knees up and over to the left-hand side. And then once you've arrived there, stretch out your left leg. So if you've got your arms stretched out to both sides of the body, then the left foot is reaching up towards your left hand. It doesn't have to reach there at all. That's the kind of direction it's going. Bend in the left knee. Both knees now up to the center line, hands on the hips, hands on the knees again, and hugging the knees into the core. Pressing down with your left foot, so you're bending the left knee, hands behind the right thigh, stretch it up towards the ceiling. And then you're reaching with your left hand over to the outer edge of your right leg. And then right hand, doesn't really matter where it is, it can come out to the side of the body, you can keep it on the right thigh. Just take that right foot a little bit over to the left hand side of the body. You're going to have to use that left leg very strongly as an anchor. Come back to the center line, hands behind the right leg again, interlace the fingers there, reach up to the ceiling with the right heel. Relaxing down the right foot and reaching your left foot up towards the ceiling. Interlace the fingers to start with behind the back of the left leg. And then right hand reaches over towards the outer edge of that left leg. The left hand can go wherever you'd like it to. And you're stretching the left foot slightly over to the right hand side. Hopefully feel it somewhere down in the left buttock, just along the outer seam of the left leg. Back to your center line, hands behind the left leg. Reach up into the heel. Bending left knee in and right knee will join it again. And you can bring the weight of the arms on the tops of the shins to hug the knees in a little bit deeper. You may want to just rock here a little bit from side to side. Dropping your feet to the floor, knees to ceiling, and arms arriving either sides of the body, palms facing up. And then from there, stretching out each leg in turn. And you're arriving into Shavasana, a few moments.
If when you notice thoughts may arise in the mind, not trying to get rid of them, just notice that the mind is thinking. And then dive straight back into the body again with your awareness. Become aware of sensation again. Whatever, however you find it. Come back to the breath. Finding comfort, rest, ease within the breath. We'll take a few moments now to bring thumbs over the tops of the fingers, your toes from side to side, and to move the head a little bit. When you're ready to, you can then bend knees and roll over to the side of the body. from there, find your way up and into sitting again. Now arriving in sitting, again taking a comfortable seat as you were doing before. And the hands can rest in the lap. And lifting up through both sides of the sit bones into the spine, up and into the crown, and letting your gaze shut. Sitting for a few more breaths. And the flow of the body, the flow of the mind. And then bringing the intention of gratitude into the flow of breath. As if you were washing the body, the mind, with gratitude. And when you're ready to, palms to heart and closing your practice. Thank you.